Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Not London Narratives. There is there's a lot going on, and where do I start? Last night, this time, I think no, sorry, after my stream last night, I was up and about, jumping, hopping, excited, and anything you could possibly imagine because I had just seen the news about Stadio potentially coming to Tottenham Hotspur. Now I use the word potentially because as a Spurs fan, I know better than anyone else that you could want a player, the player might want to come, but then as far as don't always happen. And I experienced that firsthand with Gibbs White. So that is not an experience that I would like to have again. So yeah, the transfer window is absolutely going mad. And as at this time yesterday, I was talking about how I wanted to do a video on the likes of Benacer and Bommel. And the dynamics of things have changed because there are lots of things happening. So the first thing that's happening that I want to talk about is this guy, Gianluigi Donnarumma. And this is an incredibly interesting one because this is a top goalkeeper. This is a goalkeeper that has been arguably amongst the best since he was like what 17, 18. I think 17, 18, and he was already like the starting goalkeeper, which is incredibly crazy for a goalkeeper to be starting at that age. But Donnarumma is one that like has been there for years, and I think he's like what 26, 27 now. Yeah, 26, 27. And now there are reports that he is going to leave PSG for 20 to 30 million euros. This is a very tricky situation because we both know that Chelsea and Manchester United need goalkeepers, and Chelsea and Manchester United have been linked to him. And it's incredibly interesting because earlier in the window, Chelsea were being linked to Mike Mignon, and we know that Onana isn't good enough. And I've been talking about Manchester United and how terrified I am of Manchester United. And they're also in talks of Baliba. So now, if Donnarumma is to leave to either Chelsea or Manchester United, if he goes to Chelsea, I genuinely think that Chelsea have a chance of winning the league. But then the problem with Donnarumma to Chelsea is that a lot of people might not know this because they do not watch the French league. And while I do not watch the French league, I'm not going to come here and act like I watch the French league. No, I do not. But one thing I do is I watch a lot of podcasts on YouTube. And these podcasts are absolute football freaks. And I listen to a lot of things about a lot of clubs. So I have quite a fair bit of knowledge of leagues and players, even though I don't necessarily watch them. And also football manager as well. That was even what I was doing now before the stream. Because I worked and then let's say 9 to 5, and then the rest of the hours are mine before the stream. I get to share my hours with you guys. So yeah. So yeah, Donnarumma is a player that while he's an incredible goalkeeper, he's not necessarily the best with his feet. But in PSG, are able to get away with it because um PSG is what they call it. PSG have solid, a very solid team, very quality players, and they have players that sort of alleviate pressure from Gigi. And while him to Chelsea on paper looks like a good deal, considering the things that Enzo Maresca wants his goalkeeper to do, I don't necessarily think is a good fit, which is very interesting. But you know what? I'm not going to say what I've heard and by watching other YouTubers. So we're just going to check the data. We're just going to check the data and we're going to make sense of the data. Yeah. If you look at passes attempted, passes completed, all these passes things, very poor. Which means what I heard was not necessarily false. So you know what? It's one thing to look at it with your eyes, it's another thing to have ChatGPT interpret this data for you. Because a lot of people might not necessarily know what they're looking at. So interpret this data for me. So let's interpret the data. Use gold stars. So we're going to interpret the data now to understand what we're looking at. So he's shot stopping, reflexive, 3 stars. He's good, but he's not elite. He's a very big man, by the way. He's incredibly large. Let's check his height. Donnarumma height, yeah, is also one of the most searched things about him. 1.96 to feet is what, 6'4". It's quite big. It's quite big. So yeah, that's GG. High quality chances saves, 2 stars. Penalty saving, 1 star. No saves in the last year. Incredible. Goals against record, 4 stars. Strong, but mostly due to PSG's dominance. Incredible. Wow. Clean sheet rate, 3. Average for a top team. Wow. Wow. Some of these stats are not as amazing as I thought they would be. Command and claiming crosses, 3 stars. Aerial presence, 4 stars. Defensive actions outside the box, 2 stars. He rarely leaves his goal line, so he's not a sweeper keeper. Reading danger early, 2 stars. Low involvement off his line. He's not a sweeper keeper. Distribution, short passing, 4 stars. Mind you, PSG have quality players. So you have players like Vitinha that if you pass the ball to him under pressure, even though it might not be a good pass, they're able to make sense of it, like make something out of it, basically. Long passing accuracy, 2 stars. Below average involvement in the build up, 2 stars. So that's what I was saying. So PSG don't necessarily use him in the build up because, like I said, Gigi isn't one of the best players on the ball. So if you're bringing him to a Chelsea where you want the player to be, they basically use their um goalkeeper as a third centre back, basically. You can't necessarily bring in Gigi, which is why this link is a bit funny to me, in my opinion. And I think that it's a bit funny to me. Now, I don't necessarily know too much about Amorim and how Amorim wants to play. I don't necessarily know too much, and I don't necessarily like Savio. I said Savio, Shanta. Have they given like an update on that? Like, is it like a new update? Like, here we go soon, that kind of update, or like, what do you mean by close to joining Spurs? Do you mean like the link that we've seen and the whole negotiations, or something new? I don't know. My phone is here, but I'm focused on this. But anyways, so yeah, his involvement in the build-up is not very good, and I don't know how. I'm not going to come here and act like I know it all. I don't know how Amorim wants to play, but I know how Chelsea wants to play, and how Chelsea play. I don't necessarily think that Gigi is a good fit. Donnarumma is a very good keeper. Don't get twisted. He's a top quality goalkeeper. Maybe the stats don't do him justice because he's in a side that dominate possession, and some might say that the quality of chances that he will concede will be very high quality chances because they play a high line. So it's the same thing as City. City's goalkeepers might not necessarily do too much, but their stats may not look so good because majority of the time when they get a chance against them, it's like a one-on-one or something crazy like that. Do you get what I'm saying? So the stats may not necessarily be impressive, but Gigi is a goalkeeper. So from what I'm seeing here, like I said, I'm not sure um what Manchester United want to do. I still have a lot to learn about them, and I think the way they play will change a lot. So I think there's still lots of videos that I need to learn and watch and familiarize myself with the tactics and how they plan on playing. But for Chelsea and what they want to do, I would say is a no-go area. And this is crazy because Chelsea need a good goalkeeper, but Gigi doesn't necessarily fit what Chelsea are trying to do. So I would say that Gigi, honestly, in my opinion, should go to Manchester United because what Chelsea wants to do, it doesn't fit. Now, moving on from Gigi, there are some reports now that this brother here might be staying put. And I find that incredibly interesting because I do understand why Newcastle want to do that. but I don't think it's a good decision because next year you're not going to be able to get as much money as possible. And if Liverpool want to be crazy, they will just do exactly what Real Madrid did: delay, sign him money free. And then I think Newcastle signed him for, I think, 60 million. Let me check. How much did Newcastle pay for Isaac? How do I know all this? Wow. I don't know how I know all this. But anyways, 63 million. Yeah, 63 million. So yeah, they signed him for like in the 60s. And if it's going next year, maybe you get 80, 90. Next year, 1 year left is Isaac, 80, 90. But this year you can get over 100. And you go out there. I know they've not necessarily been able to get players that they would have liked to get. A lot of players have rejected them. Yao Pedro most publicly, Sheshko, and a lot of players have rejected them. Fine. But I think that having that money is better than not having that money. And I think that is one of those scenarios where it could be, if it's money well spent, it could be Newcastle's Aston Villa or Jack Grealish moment, where they sold Jack Grealish and they invested it in the team and they improved the team. So while they are one like less quality player, they will improve as a team as long as that money is well invested and that money is put into the right people, the right players. That's my honest opinion on this scenario. So I think that Isak should leave. And I think it's quite clear that Isak doesn't want to be there. He has made it quite clear. And I'm the kind of person that if somebody doesn't want to be with me, then go. Like, I'm not going to force you. I'm not going to try to beg you, negotiate with you, make you reason. Somebody either wants you or they don't. And the thing about like the whole scenario of somebody either wants you or they don't is that you can delay something, but that doesn't mean that they're not still going to feel that way after, which is one of the reasons why I think that Pep, when a player says they want to go, you can go, because that thing will still creep up. It's like, I don't know the example to, okay, let's say for instance, you're in a relationship with a girl and she says she wants to leave, you beg her, she stays, no problem. And she stays, but she stays because you begged her to stay, not necessarily because she wanted to stay. And the reason why she wanted to leave in the first place will still end up coming up, and she will still end up feeling that way again. It's just that now you've pushed it later down the line. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's one of those scenarios. If a player doesn't want to be with you, just let him go. Isak, yes, he's a quality player, but he wasn't this player when Newcastle signed him. If anything, Newcastle made him into this player. So if you can make Isak into that player, you can make another player into that player. And the thing about improving your squad is that when you improve the level of your squad, then you're more attractive. Like, there are lots of times in FM where I've lost players because this team had a stronger squad than us. Do you get what I'm saying? While we might have like better quality players but a stronger squad, and because they have a stronger squad, they're able to compete on more fronts than we can. Do you understand what I'm saying? So yeah, I just think it's one of the scenarios where Isak wants to go. Bye bye. In my humble opinion. So I don't think it's a good decision. But anyways, there's a player I want to talk about. And speaking about Pep and players not wanting to be here, a crazy, crazy link came up yesterday. And I couldn't believe my eyes, because there I was linking us to Van Bommel. And this guy didn't even cross my mind. Because firstly, is he right footed? He's left footed, isn't he? Right winger, yeah. Yeah, he's left footed. Because he's left footed. And my whole idea of Thomas Frank, and this is where Thomas Frank seems to surprise me and just keep on surprising me. My whole idea of Thomas Frank was he prefers inverted wingers. So he wants a left footer on the right wing and a right footer on the left wing, which I found incredibly interesting. But yeah, that was my whole idea of Thomas Frank, and that's what I thought Thomas Frank wanted. But then this link is one that really surprised me, because I'm like, where did this even come from? And now, because of this channel, I haven't done any research on him. I don't know what he's about. I know he's a very good dribbler. I've seen a lot of channels. I've watched a lot of content today, and a lot of people are telling you, "Oh, um, this guy scored goals at Girona, whatever, whatever." Bro, let me just tell you people now. Let me just tell you now. And I know this because I have a friend that is a City fan, and basically for the last how many seasons we've been talking about City every time. And I'm telling you now, straight up, Savio cannot finish. Take it from me now. Don't have any expectations because he has a lot of room to improve. He can do everything, but when he gets into that box, when it's time to shoot, when it's time to score, he misses some absolute sitters. And I'm going to be honest. I'm going to call a spade, and I'm not going to come here and tell you, oh, he scored at Duran. I'm telling you now, Savio cannot finish. I think it might be it might also be Levy's PR team fixing his reputation right now. I'm confident about the fact that if we offer around 60 million, we might get him. I don't think Levy will spend that much. It's Levy's PR team. Let me tell you something here. The thing about this whole Levy's PR team is incredibly interesting because you can't tell me that in the last how many days or months, the only players that we've been able to sign are Paulinia and Kudus, and we tried to sign Gibbs White. We tried to sign Mbeumo, we got rejected. I'm pretty sure that we've tried to sign a lot of people and we've gotten rejected. And that's the only reason why you don't hear anything about it. Because you can't tell me that they didn't know that we needed a left winger since. You can't tell me that they didn't know that we needed a number 10 since. You can't tell me they didn't know that we needed a number 8. You can't tell me you didn't know that we needed a number 9. That Solanke and Richarlison are not good enough for Tottenham Hotspur. You can't tell me that they didn't know that we needed a left back since. So yeah, I think Savio is a good player, but I think that he's far from the finished article. Like I'm not going to come here and act like he's the finished article. And considering Kudus' numbers as well, and Solanke as well, having only one good season where he actually scored goals, I'm starting to get concerned about how Tottenham must get goals. But I was watching a channel not long ago, and the person was talking about how, well, even though Tottenham Hotspur might not be able to score as many goals as we scored last season, we'll be more defensively solid under Frank. So a goal is going to mean more than it meant before. So there might be games that will be able to grind out 1-0 wins. Do you get what I'm saying? So we might not necessarily need to score as many as possible. Although they would need to start hitting those crazy numbers for us to start like challenging for top 4, challenging for the Champions League. But right now, I think the goal right now is to finish in the top 8, honestly, because that's our level. Coming from 17th, top 8, at least top 8. That is it. So yeah. But Shanta, I'll okay, you know what? Let me go to this. Might just be to excite fans and stop criticizing Levy for the quiet transfer win. I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. I don't think that we enter negotiations and make it public if we didn't think that there was an actual chance. Like if you even think back to the Mbeumo thing, we never actually bid. We just made inquiries, and he told us that he wasn't interested in signing for us. It was as straightforward as that. It was never um nobody, like there's nobody that we've actually like publicly gone out that didn't want to come and went serious about. Like Paulinia, when Fab started reporting, it got done. Gibbs White could have gotten done, but Marinakis and whoever had other plans. Kudus, when he got out, it got done. So I think that this is going to get done. And that's crazy considering what happened with Gibbs White. But I think it's going to get done. I think it's just a matter of when, not if. And if we're signing 50 million, if we're signing Tel for 50 million, I think that honestly, 55 million, 65, no, 55, 60 million pounds gets this done. Honestly, that's my opinion. And I don't think it's just about like trying to excite the fan, because I don't think that they've put out news when there wasn't something concrete to it. In my opinion, I don't think so. I don't think so. Um, about Sabino, he's a real talent. We have to realize Man City is a system where Pep wants wingers to create more than score. Yeah, exactly. Especially since like they had Haaland. So before they had Haaland, when they lost Aguero, they were more fluid. They were way more fluid, and they like everybody's moving into different positions and everybody's moving wherever you just fill in spaces. But since they have like a focal point up front, a focal point, sorry, up front, they now play to him, and that sometimes they pay for it in some ways when Haaland doesn't have his shooting boots or is marked out of the game, which you see often when a defender is very physical on him. A lot of these number nines needs to be questioned, by the way, because Harry Kane was the exact same. Whenever you go physical on Harry Kane and Erling Haaland, whenever you like rough him up, he never does anything against you. Just saying, just saying. That's the secret to playing Erling Haaland. But not too many. That's the thing. Not too many defenders are able to be physical on Haaland. So majority of the time it doesn't work. But I remember Rudiger. I remember I think Romero. The times when we used to beat City, Romero too. The same thing. Whenever you go rough, Dragishin. When we had Dragishin too, the same thing. If you rough him up, like show him that you're there, be a physical presence and physically dominate him. There's nothing he's doing. Nothing. The ST is supposed to score. That's the thing. The ST is supposed to score, but when our STs are Solanke and Richarlison, what do we do? Do you get like that's the thing? What do we do? And we've lost Madison, we've lost Son, we've lost Kane. I know Kane has been gone since. Okay, let's not consider. We've lost Madison. We don't have Kulu. We don't have um we don't have Son. We don't have Madison. We've lost Brennan because now Brennan is not going to be in the lineup again. And as much as a horrible player, I think Brennan is, he was still, I think, our highest goal scorer last season. So yeah, like where exactly are we going to be getting these goals from? Because Richarlison missed the header from 1 yard out. It doesn't get much worse than that, honestly. So I don't even know. A lot of teams also farm against City. All 10 men behind the ball. That's why Savio starts to look. I'm telling, see, Chantal, I'm telling you that this guy can't finish. I'm not, you know what? We'll check the stats and I will show you. He didn't start as much and he played right wing, even though he's a left winger. He can't finish. I'm telling you now. Maybe it's the thing with Brennan Johnson where, because when I used to play football, I sort of preferred, even though I'm right-footed, I prefer playing on the right. And I found that easier because I found it very dumb trying to finesse a ball to the top corner or around the keeper when you can just be on the right side and shoot it across him with power. So as a right footer, in my head, it made more sense to me playing on the right, like a Brennan Johnson. We've seen with Brennan. Brennan is exactly how I used to be when I used to play. Like he doesn't play well on the left. I didn't used to play well on the left because I found it very difficult trying to call a ball. But if he's playing it low and hard, like on my dominant foot across the goalkeeper, so you shoot it like if you're on the right side, you shoot it to the left side. If you're on the left side, you shoot it to the right side. Obviously, there are different scenarios where it depends on how the goalkeeper comes out, and then you play it differently. But that was the kind of player I was. So maybe because when I saw him for City, I'm telling you, on that right side, this guy could not hit a bundle. And I'm telling you now, I'm telling you guys now, he couldn't hit a bundle. Maybe he's one of those people where he's like me. Maybe he's a left footer and he prefers like shooting across goal instead of trying to finesse the ball, which is quite a difficult skill, by the way. So credit to everybody who can do it, but it's a very difficult skill. And I see no reason to put my player in such a difficult position. Like if you're even like, and that's another thing, how me, I saw football. If you're a right footer playing on the right, it's also easier for you to cross a ball in because it's your strong foot. Instead of trying to do a trivela and all these things, like a lot of the things that they were doing just didn't make sense to me. Like having inverted. Me personally, I didn't like it. And because of I was right footed, I sort of used to play as an inside forward. Like I used to play as a nine, but like on the right side, like more of like a right nine, a right forward, basically. Yeah, a right forward. And shoot across goal. So yeah, maybe excuse me. Maybe Savio is one of those players. But yeah. A lot of teams used to sit back against Kenny. You know the thing, I think that he's going to be like he's not going to play low blocks as much as before. And I think that having like a Savio and a Kudus on the wings is going to be way better for us. Because now we saw against Bayern, they left the likes of Brennan. Brennan, you can have the ball, do whatever you want to do with the ball. Do you get what I'm saying? But when you give the ball to Kudus, we double mark him, we triple mark him, we foul him. Do you get what I'm saying? But now we have Savio, we have what's his name? Kudus, being direct and doing what they do best, taking men on. Would have a number 10 creating, would have possibly a Gibbs White profile of player who is like the deep line playmaker. And I found somebody perfect for that, by the way. We'll talk about that later. But a Gibbs White profile, an absolute passer from deep, incredible passer from deep, creating Pedro Porro, creating from deep. You have likes of Udogi overlapping, and Savio plays as an inside forward. Then you have what else again? Romero creating from deep and all that. So yeah, it gives us a different dynamic. But yeah, Savio is a lot better than Taylor Johnson. Tell me something I don't know. See, they should not even be putting. See, their names should not even be in the same sentence. Chantal, their names should not be in the same sentence. If I'm being honest with you, it shouldn't. Never in this life and the next be in the same sentence. In my humble opinion. But yeah, that's just me. It's not even a debate. If we manage to get the top class come after this, we look much stronger. Personally, personally, I feel like because of how bad this window has been, a lot of people think that a calm will just solve our problem. Have you guys forgotten that we still need a left back? Because Jet Spence is a right back and has been playing out of possession. I said position. Have you guys forgotten that we need a number 8 that can do the deep line playmaking? Because Bergvall is still growing, and which is why we wanted to sign Gibbs White, because he works hard defensively, he can play in that number 8 against beside a 6 and deep line playmaker for us with his passing range. Have you guys forgotten that? Have you guys forgotten that Solanke and Richarlison are number 9s? Have you guys forgotten that? I still think even when we sign Savio, we need a 10, we need a left back, and we need a 9, in my humble opinion. And I'm telling you now, if Richarlison goes, I don't care what anybody says, I will take Jackson. Because it's the best on the market right now. In my humble opinion, I think he's the best on the market right now. But yeah. Well, he didn't shoot or score because, like I said, it's the City system in a set way. The SC scores, it starts that Girona were much better to look at. All I'm going to tell you is that we'll see. But all I'm going to tell you is that likes of Anthony as well played well in the Spanish league, because in the Spanish league you get more space than you get in the Premier League. That's one thing for you to take note of. Girona were in the Spanish league. In the Spanish league, you get more space and time on the ball than in the Premier League. And I'm telling you, I'm not going to die on the cross for this. All I'm going to tell you is that you're going to watch him, and you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. And don't be surprised when you see it, because I've told you now, and I'm telling you, all these guys that are telling you that he's not that bad a finisher, he is that bad a finisher. At least when I've seen him on the right, he's that, like, there are some chances that I've seen Savio miss, and I couldn't believe my eyes. I couldn't believe my eyes because he has everything. Like he can beat everybody. But when he gets there, nothing. It's like how Vinny was when Vinny first came to Madrid. All foreplay, no end product. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's one of those scenarios. In my humble opinion, that's for me, I think. But yeah, if other people feel different, it's football. A lot of people have different opinions about these things. So yeah, I think that it will be interesting to see. Is a player that I would want, whether or not he can finish. I will take him in my team. But yeah, I'm excited to see how things go. I'm excited to see how he does for us. And let's just see. I think he will grow. He has a lot of room to grow. I think so. I think he has a lot of room to grow. I agree with you on that, Shanta. Even Grealish scored so much, I'll be like, no, Shanta, no. And I will show you now. Grealish has never been a goal scorer. Never in his life. Never. Like, and that's the thing. Whenever people like try to diss Grealish and say, oh, Grealish was a flop at City and whatever, Grealish never really got goals and assists. Like, if you check his stats, let me show you. This is him at Villa. And that's the thing. Like, these players, there are a lot of players that a lot of people like think that they are here, and the things that they are good at, a lot of people don't know. So, his first season at Villa, 1 goal, 0 assists, 5 goals, 2 assists, 3 goals, 6 assists, 6 goals, 7 assists, 10 goals, 7 assists, 7 assists, 7 goals, 10 assists. Can you see? His numbers have never really been like mind-blowing. That's what I'm telling you. Like, these are players that a lot of people think, oh, they should be doing this. Like, why do you think that? Grealish would suddenly enter Villa and you're expecting him to do something he wasn't doing before. That's not why Pep signed him. Pep signed him because he's able to alleviate pressure of like his teammates. That's the thing. That's why they signed him, not necessarily because of his goal scoring. Okay, that's why whenever I see people saying, "Oh, Grealish was a flop because he didn't score goals at Villa or at City," sorry, I'm like, he never really scored goals. Like his best goal scoring season is 10. Come on. Um, let's see. Um, he's also 21. I think he will grow and be better on the front. Without a doubt, Savio is an incredible talent. Should I even tell you? This evening, I was having a career and my other laptop is there. I use my Mac for work and I use my HP for games. But yeah, my my I started a new career. My last career was with Manchester United. I deleted that one. And since this whole Savio link started, I signed Savio. I signed Schneidler. I spoke about him yesterday. I've signed Antonio Silva as my centre back. I've signed Schlotterbeck. I've sold Ben Davies. I've sold Richarlison. Richarlison was the first person I sold when I got to Tottenham. I tried to sell Bissouma. I'm currently second on the table. This is that season that Ange finished fifth. So we're not in Europe. It's FM24. I didn't update it. So we're not in Europe. It's that season without Europe, and I'm second on the table. I'll try to bolster my attack and improve my midfield. Actually, Timo Werner is actually bagging in goals for me. I don't know how. I don't know how he's doing it. I signed this guy Bayer from Hoffenheim. Bayer or something from Hoffenheim. Yeah, from Hoffenheim. He has not really pulled up too many trees for me, but he's still young. I will develop him and I will see how he is. This is how I used to find players, by the way. I just used to go online, search players, use them in FM, and then when I use them in FM, I see if they're good. And then if I like really obsess over the player, I go and watch their YouTube and I find players that way. That's how I find players. He still has a lot of growing to do. He still has a lot of growing to do, and he's not the link up play type of forward. So yeah, but he's still very raw from the starts here. But that's the buyer guy that I just signed in my career. Because I like in this career, I want to sign a different set of players that I've not necessarily used before. So like I change it career to career. So I find new players instead of just rotating between the same players all the time. So yeah. Well, 10 goals and 7 assists is much better than what he did at City. I agree. He was quite bad at City. He was quite bad at City. But that's the thing. Like in Villa, everything revolved around him. He was the main man. At City, they had Erling Haaland, who was getting all the goals. So he didn't necessarily need to get all the goals. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah. He was much better of a it was much better of a goal scorer at Villa than at City due to the City system. Yeah, and it's also how City used him. City sort of used him as a touchline winger, and while he has the ability to do that, I always say that there are only very few people in this world that have the ability to play as touchline wingers. Like the skill that you need to come from the wing into the box. A lot of people don't know how much of a skill that is. Like a lot of people don't know how much of a task that is to be able to do that as a player. There are only very few players in the world that can do that. And that's why when Ange was trying to use the likes of Brendan Johnson as a touchline winger and Heung-min Son at this age as a touchline winger, he cannot do it. They cannot do it. Brendan Johnson started playing his best football as an inside forward for Tottenham Hotspur. You can't tell Brendan Johnson to be a touchline winger. He doesn't have the ability to do it. Only a few players like Grealish, Doku, Musiala, very few players, very few, and I'm talking very few, um what's his name? Vinicius. I don't even think that Mbappe can be used as a touchline winger. Mbappe is an inside forward. You can't use Mbappe as a touchline winger. He can't do it because there were times in PSG where they started marking Mbappe out of games. Like I think his last season for PSG, they started marking him out of games. So even Mbappe, he as good a player as he is, he doesn't have the ability for him to play as a touchline winger. That thing, I don't think a lot of people know how difficult it is. But yeah, you have more room for creativity and scoring at Villa or Spurs compared to City. Again, this is because Pep expects a certain role from his wingers. Granted. I agree. I think that the way Villa or Spurs will use him, I think he will get way more like goal contributions at a Spurs, for instance, because if we're going to be this defensively solid side that would create conditions where we create conditions purposely, intentionally, by the way, by not dominating position. We create conditions where we're able to play on the transition. And when we create conditions that we are able to play on transition, players that are ball carriers like him and Kudus will naturally be the ones with the ball and driving into these spaces. So naturally, he would have more access to attacking players and would increase the probability of him getting more goal contributions at this post. And which is why I think that he's going to do well at Everton, because everything is going to revolve around him. He's going to be the ball carrier and he's going to be the one like laying up passes and things like that to other people. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's going to really do him the world of good, feeling important again and being able to be free and play like Jack Grealish. I hope he still has that about him. If it hasn't been coached out of him, I hope so. But yeah, it is going to be exciting to see Everton next season. I'm telling you, that Arsenal boy, I know him from FM. I've not really signed him and developed him, but I'm telling you, potential. If it's potential, he has potential on Football Manager. I would give you that. His stats are very raw. His defensive ability is incredibly impressive. Wow, incredibly impressive. Let's check his height. How tall is he? Arsenal. What's his height? It's quite small, but it's very good defensively. 5'8". Yeah, but it's very good defensively. So I know I've seen him from Bayern a couple times on Football Manager. The player that always like that I used to love before I had to force myself to not sign him again is Paul Warner. Top quality player, top potential, huge potential. But his stats are not very good. He's still very raw. But yeah, these players take some time to develop. But yeah, that's it on this whole Sabio thing. But now leaving Sabio, Manchester City, I don't even know what to say to these people, because what are you doing? What is going on in the Premier League this year? And there are reports that there were first reports that they could possibly be battling with Chelsea for Xavi Simons. And I found that very interesting because I'm like, okay, that makes sense. You're playing a lot of times. You already have Turkey. You already have Oscar Bob. You already have Odin. You have a couple people that can play in number 10, and you're going to be playing with number 10s instead of wingers. So let's see the formation that he used. Man City fixtures. Let's see. Let's see Man City fixtures. More matches. Let's see what they used against Alila. Yeah, they're going to be playing with 2 10s instead of wingers. And it made sense. But now that they're being linked to Rodrigo, now I'm wondering, I don't understand, because I thought the whole point of getting rid of a Savio is to sort of play or sign a Xavi Simons who fits what they're trying to do right now. And Oscar Bob is so like skillful that he can play as a 10 as well as a winger. But Rodrigo, I think, is a different profile, which is, I think Rodrigo is primarily a winger. And I found that incredibly interesting. And if you're selling a Savio who you've been playing on the right and you're signing Rodrigo, Rodrigo is tired of playing on the right. So who moves to the right if Rodrigo is going to move to the left? So it doesn't really make sense to me. But who am I? I'm not Pep. I'm not the genius. I would stay here and watch and see how it pans out. But yeah, that is something I found very funny. I understand he's a big name and people are excited. I would love to see Rodrigo in the Premier League, by the way. And I think he's a quality enough player that they will find a way to make it work. Like, it's one of those things like they just can't fail. Like, it's like Haaland. Haaland could not fail. Some people might say Florian Wirtz cannot fail. I haven't necessarily watched him too much, but the few times I have, I don't see anything that people see. But I would watch him and I would probably be proved wrong, since so many people think he's like best in sliced bread. But yeah, I just think Rodrigo is one of those players that is too good to fail. So everything will work out perfectly fine and it would be fine for everybody. So yeah, that is a link that I found incredibly interesting. Let me check which other transfer did I write. Izzy. No, I don't want to talk about Izzy. I'm tired of talking about Izzy. Um, Let me see. Xavi Simons. Xavi Simons to Chelsea is one that I think is interesting. Okay, Shanta, no problem. It's fine. It's fine, Shanta. Thank you. Thank you for the support and thank you for being in the live. That's perfectly fine. Xavi Simons is one that I think that is a very interesting one because I think it would make sense as City. In my humble opinion, I think that would make sense as a move because, like I said, City are playing with tens here. So if you're signing a Simmons, he would naturally slot into the side. Do you get what I'm saying? But then at Chelsea, it's interesting because when you're signing Ganacho, you're signing Gittins, you have Pedro Neto, you have Esteval, you have whichever other player, they have like a billion players. But anyways, um, you're signing all these players. Xavi Simons, where does he fit? Because it looks like Esteval is going to be their starting left winger, right winger, sorry. Palmer is the stamped 10. Yao Pedro seems like the 9. And this guy seems like left winger right now, Gittins. And I don't think that Xavi Simons is going to come there. Yeah, I get it. Chelsea are going to be in a lot of competitions next year and he's going to find playing time. But do you really want to leave Leipzig to be playing second fiddle to Cole Palmer for the next, like, what, 4 or 5 years? Because I don't necessarily see you getting in over the wingers at Chelsea because from the tactics videos I've seen, sorry, I it's been made clear to me that Enzo Maresca wants his wingers to do a certain type of thing, and I don't think that Javi Simons is that profile, which is why I'm banging on again. I think that the City move makes sense. It makes sense. But yeah, that's just my opinion on Xavi Simons to Chelsea. Um, Manchester City need a right back, and this is something that we've been trying to. Let's try and find somebody else because um, for years they've been linked to. For a while they've been linked to what's his name, Livramento, but I don't want to do Livramento anymore because I'm tired of. It's even true. This guy. Oh my God, Rico Lewis is still at. He's still at Man City. Wow, Coyote is already at. Oh my God, see the way I pronounce his name like a true Yoruba boy. Sorry, but yeah, that's how to pronounce it, Coyote. But Coyote is already at what they call it, Brentford. So that's off. Livramento possibly, but I don't know if they will let Isaac and Livramento leave. That would be crazy. Yan Koto. Now these guys that they are what they call it, they have a multi-club ownership. So if they felt he was good enough, I think they would have brought him in by now. So yeah, very quality right back. It's just sad that he's already at City. I said City. He's already at Chelsea. Let's check this guy's stats. Scully. I think I've checked him out before. I haven't. Wow, shocking. Attacking stats are really good. Still very raw. He's a Gladbach. Him and Nets. Look at Nets. And the reason why I know these players is because of FM. Once again, football manager. Look at Nets is another one. Still very raw as well. The two of them are very raw. They're the left back and right back for Gladbach. This guy, sometimes, let's check. There's one guy, Simakan, I think. Where is he? Al Nassr. Al Nassr. So he's already transferred. I was too late on that one. Let me see. Let me check for any other. Fresneda. But I don't think his stats are that good. And in FM, it doesn't really develop well. Like in FM 23. Wow. Wow. His attacking stats are really good. But is this really something to make? Let's check. Let's check him on SofaScore. Because if his attacking stats are that good, that is incredible. What's his name again? Fresneda. You think, okay, the Portuguese league has started this year, and you think for somebody whose attacking stats look that good, he would have a couple goals and assists. But no, not really. Crazy. That's crazy. So what's all this? What's all this? What's all this? I don't know. I would never understand some of these stats. But anyways, he's like what, 20, still young, still developing. I think they signed him for from Valilioid or something. Let me check. Yeah, I think that's it. Valilioid, something like that. Yeah, from La Liga. Yeah, from Valilioid. So yeah, let me try and find a right back for City. This guy, I think have I come across him before? I don't know. No, no, no. I'm not able to find any data on him. Seriously, right backs, I know Wrench. I've heard about this guy for a while now, to be fair. It's at Ajax. Let's see. Let's see the stats. But if it was anything, if it was pulling up trees, I think we would probably have heard about him. He can play almost everywhere. He can play right back, he can play left back, he can play center back, he can play CDM, he can play CM. He's like Timber, basically. Very good defensive stats. That's the thing about a lot of these Ajax defenders, like Timber. Like their defensive stats, top, top. But yeah, what's market value? The Prem team should come and snap him. Honest. Wrench. 9.3 million. His strength is ground use, so he's very good. He's a very good defender, like on the ground. Very good defender. He's he went to Roma. Oh no. Was I late? He's a Roma. Yeah, I was late. Roma signed him last year. Crazy. This is one that I found on FM as well. There's even another one. One Taylor guy. Something Taylor at Ajax as well. Kenneth, yeah. That I always see on FM. It's another one that I always see on Football Manager. Um, look look at his goal stats. But that's the thing. Like you should be doing better than this on the ball at Ajax. You should be doing way better than this on the ball at Ajax. So yeah, a lot of these players still have a long way to go in their development. But this right back options I'm seeing here are not exciting me. So you know what? City is a big team. Let's remove the wonder kids and best right backs in Football Manager. Which one is attainable? We also have to look at age. Let's even check this young Koto stats. But I think like Teres, the Napoli signed, the guy I was talking about for Tottenham, I called, I, I'd spoken about him on this channel a couple times. And next thing, I see he's going to Napoli. A lot of these players are very lightweight. That's the thing. It's 5'6". Can you see? 5'6", 60 kg. It's very lightweight and very small. Very, very small. And if City felt like he was ready, they would have signed him because Girona is their sister club. So yeah, I don't think he's ready. Frimpong has already gone. I don't like these right back options. Right backs are very hard to find. The best right back on the market, aside from Livramento right now, is Coyote. Honestly. And that's the thing. Like it's Coyote. And Coyote has already got Brentford. So it's only Livramento or bust. But I'm excited to see who they sign. Maybe they bring out somebody whose data is top and I don't know about. I mean, I can only do so much from here. and I'm not paid to do this. So you get like, come on. But okay, you know what? Let's try to see if we can even try and find players similar to Livramento because we know they like Livramento. Scally is one of them. You see, my ball knowledge. Can you imagine? But these guys are they're nothing special. But yeah, I'm unable to find the right back for Liverpool. They need a CB. I think we've been over this before. Guehi. Baliba is one that really excites me. And I think that him like the Prem next season is going to be incredibly interesting to watch because I think that a lot of a lot of teams are going up a level. Like listen to some of the players that could be coming to the Premier League. So the players that could be coming to the Premier League. We already have Florian Wirtz. We have possibly Gigi Donnarumma, Rodrigo, Xavi Simons. What was it again? Like these are top players, and these are some of the world's best players. Do you get what I'm saying? Like these are top footballers, and it's incredibly interesting. There's one player that always crosses my mind, data wise. I said data wise, or crosses my sight, and I was thinking of pitch checking his stats for Tottenham Hotspur's 10. Let's see. Let's make sense of these stats. Um, interpret. So yeah, he's young. He's 21. This is Oscar Gluck. I think he's Israeli. Let me check. I think he's Israeli. Let me check. What's nationality? Yeah, Israeli. So yeah, I don't want to talk about politics or whatever, so I'm not even going to talk about any of that. But yeah, use stars to explain it so we understand what we're looking at. Aha, this is it. So yeah, this is a player. He's a Salzburg. I think he's a Salzburg. Let me check. Ajax. How is he at Ajax? Did he move? Oscar Gluck. Wasn't he at Salzburg? Yeah, he moved last year or this year, 25-26. He moved. Wow. Salzburg have some players. There's another guy, one centre back there, Baido. There's Karim Konate. There's Guna something, one DM. They have a lot of players there that still have a lot of room to improve, but they have a lot of potential. They have a lot of potential. And Oscar Gluck, it was, you know how they say players stand out like a sore thumb? Yeah, he was exactly that. He stood out like a sore thumb. And it was clear, like when you see something like this, that this guy is too good for this league. And they signed him from one very, yeah, the Austrian Bundesliga or something. I don't know. I don't know. One very poor league when he was like, what, 17, 18. Huge potential, this guy. Huge potential. He's one of those people that a lot of people have been talking about for quite some time. But like, I'm talking like talent wise, like when you check FM Wonder Kids, you see his name on the list for like a couple years now. And I've been playing FM for a couple years, so there are lots of players that like have come across my research for young players. But anyways, so yeah, this is an incredible player because that's the thing. I was trying to think of maybe a rogue shout for number 10. I didn't know that he had gone to Ajax. So yeah, but he's still very small. still very small, and it was clear that he was above the league at Salzburg. So yeah, dribbling 5 star, 1v1 elite dribbling ability, beats defenders regularly. Progressive carries 5 star. We're talking about ball carriers. Oscar Glue is one that can do it. Constantly drives the ball forward. Progressive passes 74th percentile, 4 star. Moves the ball into dangerous zones. Moves the ball into dangerous zones. Chance creation, 4 star. He creates opportunities, especially off dribbles. So he uses, like, he's one of those creators that uses his body to create. Like I always say, there are people who, like Grealish, Musiala, Olise, in some ways, they use themselves to create. And then there are creators that use the ball to create, like a Madison, like a De Bruyne, like a Damsgaard, those type of creators, a different type. AZ2 is one of, like, using yourself to create and things like that. So there are different types of tens, anyways, or creators rather. Um, so yeah, I find that very, like, especially off dribbles, it's quite specific. Um, Shot creation, hey, what did I just say? Shot creating actions from take-ons, 5 star. Directly turns dribbles into shots. So he creates space for himself and is not afraid to take a shot. Non-penalty goes, nothing. Um, Wait, oh, what season is this? Last 365 days, okay. But it's only his Champions League stats that they have. So that means they don't have his Ajax stats. I don't know. Yeah, this is the guy where is he? Where's the guy I was talking about? Guna. Is he not Guna? Let me check. Salzburg players. Let me check. Guna. Is he not Guna or is he Duna? Where is he? I know Baido. There are certain players that stick out or stand out. Yeah, Guna. Gurna. Okay. Gurna. All right. No Guna. Yeah. I checked his stats a while ago. It wasn't too impressive. Wasn't too impressive. Still has some way to go before he leaves Salzburg. Still has a lot of development to do. But yeah, that's what they do at Salzburg, sha. That's what they do. They develop him. So his shots per 90 is 1 star. And mind you, this is like in the Champions League alone. 2 seasons in the Champions League. I think so. XG 1 star. Pass volume 4 star. Pass completion 4 star. Medium range passing 5 star. Pressing and blocking passes 5 star. Tackles and interceptions 2 star. Areas is very small. So yeah, he's an elite dribbler. He's good at ball progression and chance creation from take-ons, and his press resistance resistant. Sorry. Um, then almost no goal threat, low penalty box involvement, and weak in duels. So yeah, this is just one player that I was thinking about, and I thought that I should pitch to you guys. But yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff happening, and I'm excited to see how all this pans out. I would love to see Savio at Spurs. Let me check if there's any update, any live update on um, from Fabrizio. What's going on? Ganacho. Chelsea are in talks for Ganacho. What do I make of the sign? Honestly, see, I don't think Ganacho is a bad player. But if they are willing to take a punt on him, sure. I think that his finishing is bad. If I'm being honest, I think his finishing isn't good enough for what they're trying to do. And is incredibly exciting, and I would like to see how this works for them. But yeah, Ganacho is it's a decent player. Sha. I don't think he's like when I like I used to like rate him very very highly, but when I now check the stats and like I know you have to factor in that he's still very young. Ganacho is a young player. He has been in a dysfunctional Manchester United side, but when I started to check the stats, that's when I started to like question some of this stuff because it's like, yo, wow, this is really good by the way. But when you check his data, like that's the thing, his average rating is even poor. When you check the data on like every ref, it's not, it doesn't even look as impressive as this. But 11 goals, 10 assists for somebody that was saying can't finish 21 goal contributions at the age of 21 isn't bad. It's not bad. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. If you're new here, please leave a like, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time on Not London Narratives. To the person watching, there's one person watching it that's watched the whole show. I don't know if it's Shanta, if it's you. Thank you so much, brother. I'm very grateful, and I look forward to having you on whenever you're available. So yeah, take care, guys. Bye bye.